Hi all, I'm Amira. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you my full face of E.L.F. cosmetics. I asked my followers on Instagram what brands they would like to see me do a full face review of, and I gave them a couple of options for drugstore and a couple of options for non-drugstore. And for non-drugstore, E.L.F. won by a landslide, which I was actually quite surprised by. I didn't realize that so many people were interested in E.L.F. So I placed an order. I bought a bunch of E.L.F. cosmetics. I plastered them on my face for a couple of days just to get the feel for them, because I wanted to come back and sit down and be able to give you guys an actual full thorough review of the products and not just my first impressions. I wanted to live with them for a little bit. So I got these products last week and I've basically been wearing them every day when I do my makeup. And the look that you're seeing now is what I've been doing with them. I will say I was quite surprised by the products that I purchased and that I've been wearing. I'm going to roll footage of me applying each item as I talk about them. But let's start with how I start my makeup. And let me just give you a little background about my skin type. I am oily to normal. I'm currently on tretinoin. So my skin is a little bit different than it normally is. It's a bit more normal with a prone to dry patches in certain areas like my forehead and a little bit here sometimes, but nothing flaky or anything like that. I'm usually fine with just making sure I stay moisturized and I'm good. But we are in the winter season, even though it's not officially winter. It's winter here in Chicago. The high today, I believe, is like 40 something. So it's cold. And with the cold comes the dry. So my skin has been a little bit drier than normal, and so I've been prepping my skin a little bit differently. I've been really layering the moisturizer. So I'm just going to give that as a disclaimer because it does come into play with some of the base products that I'm going to mention. So first up I have for you the Wow Brow Gel. I originally wasn't going to get any brow products. I'm really picky about brow products. I've kind of gotten my brow routine down to where I want it to be after a lot of trial and error. So I didn't want to get all new brow products, but I wanted to try one thing that I felt like I can give you guys a good review on. So I opted for the brow gel. And I use it in conjunction with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in medium brown. And then I use the Lime Crime Bushy Brow pen in smoky brown. And these I use all the time along with the Lime Crime Brow Gel. And those are my, I don't like to say holy grail because there's no such thing, but those are the things that I have been using consistently for pretty much over a year now. That's my little trio. In comes this little thing. Kind of blew me away. This product does have a learning curve. I have to say the first time I used this, my brows were very large and very in charge. If that's your jam, you're gonna love this. If that is not your jam, I say go in with a very light hand and build up slowly, which is something that I'm still sort of learning how to work with this product, but I'm also enjoying it. I like the color. It's a perfect sort of neutral dark brown. It's not warm, it's not cool, so it's not going to make your brows look orange and it's not going to make them look gray if you have brown eyebrows. It's beautiful, beautiful color, but what I love is that you don't have to use a lot of it to get that effect of that bushy brow. I don't have bushy brows. I have brows, but they're very sparse. I feel like they don't have a lot of shape to them. Even when I shape them, they don't have a lot of shape to them. So for me, having something that gives me a little bit that fills them out, and then I can go in with my pencil and my pen to just sort of, refine them, that's what I need. And what I love about this is I don't have to use a lot of this. It gets the job done. I love the way my brows look. I'm enjoying this, and I think, let me look up the price for this. The E.L.F. Brow Wow is $4. $4. The brow gel that I use from Lime Crime, I think, is like 18. So this is sort of this is going to become something that I'm reaching for constantly. I'm gonna go ahead and really work to finish this. I want to finish it and see how I feel once I finished it. And if I still love it, I will repurchase it and my lime crime will be abandoned. So the first product off the bat, I was very impressed with. Secondly, and I tend to do my brows first. I don't know how people do all of their makeup and then do their brows last. I can't live like that. My brows have to be done first and then everything else can come after that. So after I've done that, I went in with the E.L.F. Flawless Finish Foundation in the shade Honey, which is tan with neutral undertones. My skin is medium deep with neutral yellow, slightly golden undertones. I'm not super neutral. I'm not super warm. I'm sort of like right down the middle with a teeny hint of golden. So for me, I have to be really careful when I buy neutral leaning foundations that they don't lean too flat, because then I'll look gray. And if they lean a little too warm, I'll look like an Oompa Loompa. This one is it's slightly too dark for me. Just a bit, not a ton, but just a bit. But I feel like in conjunction with the concealer from E.L.F., which I'll get to in a moment, I actually really like the tone that it gives my skin. It gives me some warmth, which is nice in the colder months when my skin is a bit flatter in tone. But I feel like I can finesse this. This isn't too far off my natural shade that I can't work with it. Formula-wise, this is very much it says satin, and the finish is very satiny. I will say that. The finish is very satiny. It feels very natural. It looks really lovely on the skin. But because of the state that my skin is in now, as far as the weather goes, I find that as the day goes on, my skin feels dry. It doesn't look dry. I will say that. I will say that right off the bat. My skin doesn't look dry. I don't get flakiness or patchiness or anything like that. It just feels to the touch a little bit dry. The wear on this is fantastic. I've worn this for 12 hours and my skin looked amazing at the end of the day. But yes, I still have that feeling of my skin being just dry to the touch. Not visually, but to the touch, it felt quite dry. So what I've decided to start doing with this is pairing it with a glowy makeup serum, and I have the Laneige glowy makeup serum, and this is what I used today. And this is just something I tried today because of that dryness factor, and I wanted to really wear this and have my skin still feel very plump and not dry. I'm not into the dewy vibes. I just want a nice glow, and I like my skin to still feel soft and moisturized to the touch. Like I don't want it to feel crepey or dry. So this is the combo that I did today. And I will say, I mean, I haven't had this on for very long, but it feels nice together. So this is a combo that I'm gonna keep trying. I was actually blown away at, like I said, the lasting power of this. I really, really enjoyed how my skin looked throughout the entire day. It didn't break down. I didn't look overly oily, but I didn't look dry. My skin just kind of stayed the same, which for me is a feat, because usually, like I said, I have oily, just normal skin. Usually I get some oiliness here and in here and around here, and I didn't get any. My skin just looked good, and that's pretty good. And I've had high-end foundations that don't do that for me. So I was very impressed with this. I will say that I think the shade range is strange. I think the undertones of the shade range is strange because I did have a hard time finding a shade that would match me. And like I said, this one still isn't quite the match that I would need, but it's not bad. But yeah, I will say the shade range on this isn't the best. And this was on sale on the E.L.F. website. I don't know what the regular price is. I believe I paid about $7 for this. Not bad at all. So that is the Flawless Finish Foundation. And also I want to say about this foundation, which I forgot to mention, is that the coverage is medium to full. I built it up quite a bit today. I don't generally do that, but I really wanted to push it and kind of see what it would do. And I feel like the coverage is nice. I have some acne scarring here, some like darker spots, which generally don't get covered anyway. I have yet to find something that truly covers those. But thank you, sir. But I love the way that this looks on the skin and the way it lays on the skin. I feel like it looks very nice and very natural. And so I think you can build it up. If you don't have any scarring or anything, I don't think you will need to build this up. I think one pump for your whole face and you're good to go. If you want to build it up, you can though, and it still looks really nice. This is about a pump and a half on my face. I took it up to here. I don't take my foundation very high up. Like I've said before, I don't like to take my foundation all the way up to my hairline. It's just the way to keep it from looking mask-like. I just feel like it looks a little bit more natural when you kind of keep it in this area here. But yeah, so the foundation is all the way up to here, and then of course I have my bronzer and everything else on. But yes, the finish and the coverage is lovely. I wanted to add that. Next up is the E.L.F. Hydrating Camo Concealer. They have two concealers. They're both the camo concealer. I opted for the hydrating because I don't like super, super duper matte concealers under my eyes. I don't have a lot of crepiness, thank the Lord, knock on wood. I don't have a lot of crepiness or lines, but I feel like dry and super matte concealers can make you look like you have all of that. So I try to stay away. I tend to opt for natural satin, natural matte, hydrating, but not too hydrating, because then I don't want it slip sliding all over the place. This is very much on the hydrating side. I would say that the coverage is full with this. I think you can get full coverage with this concealer. And like I said earlier, the way that I used it just to sort of balance out the tone of the foundation is I used it under my eyes and I brought it a little bit down here and around my mouth, which is where I apply concealer anyway because I have a little bit of discoloration here. So I just like to use that to just balance that out. I did the same with this and I feel like it balanced the foundation out really well. This spread really well. I did have a little bit of creasing with it before I set it. And I usually don't set my under eyes at all. I don't like the look or the feeling of powder under my eyes. But because this is so hydrating, it does have that emollient texture where it has the possibility of moving. And that's what I noticed it was doing. So when I use this, I just lightly take my, my Linda Halberg puff. I tap it into the powder and I just put a very light layer of powder underneath my eyes. And it works perfectly. Lovely concealer. This one is the shade that I'm using here is, I think it's Tan Sand. It's more on the yellow side, but that works for me for balancing out the tone of the foundation. I will say when I looked at the shade range, I feel like all of them lean a little yellow. Like that sort of seems to be a trend with their shade range for the concealers. So that's just a heads up. If your tones are a little more on the cool side, the pinky side, you may want to maybe tweak it with what foundation you use if you're truly interested in trying this. Next up, I have the item that I was the most interested in trying because I've really been obsessed with cream bronzers. Since basically the spring of this year, I've been really obsessed with cream bronzers. I've kind of gone all in with them. And I was really interested in trying the E.L.F. Putty Bronzer. The shade of this reminds me quite a bit of the shade that I have of the NARS cream bronzer that they came out with this past summer. Those limited edition that I still use because I love it and I really just hope they bring it back and just as like a permanent thing and like permanent packaging because it's très magnifique. So good. The shade is very similar. The texture is not. The NARS one is very emollient. Like you can pick up a lot on your brush and you have to be careful. I find that I have to go in very lightly with it because if I go in heavy, it's going to be all over my face. The great thing about that though is that it's very easy to blend. If I go in too heavy, I can tap it out. This one, I feel like it's a bit stiffer. I feel like I have to really sort of warm it up. When I first opened it and put my brush into it, I felt like I didn't get any product at all. And then I took my brush and I really dug in and swirled it, and I was able to pick up product that way. I still feel like I have to do that. I feel like it's just one of those products that's just how it is. And maybe it's because it's a putty, because it is that putty tends to be a little on the drier side. Even though it's a cream, that putty aspect keeps it from being too emollient. So I would say go in with a small brush. This is the brush that I tend to use for my cream bronzers. I love it because it's small and I have a lot of control over where things go, especially with cream, because cream can get everywhere. And I know that that can be really intimidating for people who don't use creams. You want a little bit of control. So something small like this where you can really just like, and I go in and I tap my bronzer on. This is in the shade, what shade is this? Honey Drip. Now, this is on the lighter side of the bronzer range. There's, I believe, 3 other shades on the deeper end that I could have used. I am very particular about bronzers. I don't like bronzers that are too orange leaning and warm leaning because, again, I'm trying to avoid that Oompa Loompa vibe. And when bronzers are more orange leaning, that tends to be what they look like on my skin. So for me, I tend to go for slightly lighter bronzers with a slightly more neutral undertone that I can build up and create the bronze effect that I want. This is very light for me. I can get it to show up. It gives me just enough. This isn't going to give me a lot. It gives me just enough. And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't mind that. So for me, so far, I've been enjoying this. Again, I love the way it pairs with the foundation and the concealer. Those 3 products together look amazing. So yeah, so I've been enjoying this. And again, this is in the shade Honey Drip. If you're lighter than me, this is going to be more intense on you. Just so you know, the shade is going to be more intense. Next up is the E.L.F. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I was a little bit reticent to order this because it says Halo Glow, and I prefer pressed powders that have a little bit of sheen or glow to them than I do to loose, because I feel like with loose I don't have as much control over where that shine goes. So I was a little bit reticent, but I was like, you know, I'm gonna give it a shot. This actually doesn't have that much glow to it. It has a little bit, it gives the skin a little bit, but I have a hard time seeing the glow with this. And maybe it's because I'm using other things on my face that give me a lot of glow, but I don't see a hell of a lot of glow in this. And that's okay. Like, I enjoy the powder. Like, the powder itself is actually really lovely. And I'm actually kind of relieved that it's not as glowy or shimmery. And that's the thing. I feel like a lot of those loose powders that say they're glowy, they're really just shimmery, which is not the vibe for me. This one is very much like satiny. It's not a mattifying powder. I don't feel like my skin is super mattified when I use this. I feel like it sets everything down. It is on the drier side, I will say that. So if you have dry skin, you may want to avoid this. And that's why I said with this, these 2 can be quite dry together. So just a heads up on that one. But it doesn't make the skin look flat. It just keeps the skin looking very satin natural, and I'm cool with that. So this has been, I've been using this pretty much every day, and I actually just finished one of my favorite setting powders. So I think I'm actually gonna use this for a while and live with this and see how I like it with like other things, because right now I've just been using it exclusively with the E.L.F. products, and I really want to see how this plays with other foundations and concealers. So this one is a win as well. Next up, I have the little E.L.F. What do they call these? It's like their little mini eyeshadow, the little mini eye. I think they're called Bite Size. The Bite Size, and it's the blush and the highlighter. And I have the shade Lychee. Of all the products, I would say this one is probably my least favorite. I feel that the blush goes on quite patchy. It can be pigmented, like you can apply it, but I feel like when I'm applying it, I get like a clump of color here and then a clump of color here, and then I kind of have to buff it out. It's a beautiful shade, and I'll swatch it here. Let's see if you guys can see that. It's a beautiful sort of natural peachy tone. I don't know if you guys can see that in the lighting, but it's a beautiful natural peachy tone. I enjoy it, the shade. I don't necessarily enjoy the formula. Yeah, so This isn't terrible and I can make it work, but I have so many blushes that I love. And I think for me, someone who's been using a ton of like Pat McGrath blush, this is of course nowhere in that realm. And this was only I think $3. So I'm not like torn up about the price, of course, but I just feel like for a couple bucks more, you can probably get something a little better than this. And the highlighter is okay as well. It's just a champagne-y highlighter. I don't feel like there's anything particularly special about it, and you can see it here. Yeah, this for me is just a meh. It's just a meh. Next up, I have the New Classics eyeshadow palette. I remember when this first came out and I was really intrigued by the color story. It's very basic. I mean, it's called the New Classics. And it has this like shimmery green. Let me open it up so you guys can see. It has this like shimmery green in it. And then it has, you know, all of these neutrals with these really soft metallics. This palette, I don't dislike it. I think it's actually really pretty. I love the look, the soft looks that it creates, but the looks are very soft. I will tell you that. The mattes are pigmented. I haven't used these super dark shades yet, and I might do something maybe on my Instagram using some of these darker tones so you guys can really see what that looks like. I've been mostly sticking with wearing it how I would wear something like this in my everyday life. So if I was wearing this, you know, as I am wearing it now, this is how I would do my makeup. So I wanted to wear it in a very like reasonable, realistic way for you guys so you could truly get my opinion on it, as opposed to me creating like this super dramatic look that I've only worn once. I will say the mattes in here are really nice. They are pigmented. You do have to build them up. These are not the type of shades where you can go in once and put them on your eye and you're like, boom, done. No, you're probably going to have to dip into the pan a couple of times, but it's not like the end of the world. And I like the tones of the mattes. I really love like this shade Earth has this really beautiful neutral muted like mushroom tone, and I love a deeper outer corner pretty much almost always when I'm doing my eyes because I have hooded eyes and I like to have that darker tone to help anchor and shape the eye. These types of tones for daytime, for just every day, are perfect for that because you can still get that deepening without it being too intense. And so this is the shade Earth, and I've been really enjoying that shade specifically in the outer corner. And then what I've been doing is going in with two of the metallics, or they're metallics, but we'll get into that. So I've been using the shade, let's see here, Beloved. And then this one, which I think is called Rose Gold. Yeah, so I've been using Beloved and Rose Gold. These shades they're very soft. And when I mean by soft, I mean like the shimmer effect is very soft. Very. It's not, these read more like a satin than a metallic. If you're looking for that really, really intense metallic foiled vibe, you are not going to get that with this palette. This is not the vibe of this palette at all. Everything is very soft. And I think that was on purpose. This is really pretty too. I'm going to use this eventually because I really like that shade. But yes, I feel like the purpose of that is they wanted to create something that was an everyday palette and something that people, you know, could wear to work, or, you know, if they just wanted a simple vibe, that was the point of this. So I feel like there's a reason why they're really just satins, and I don't mind that. What I've been doing is I've been layering those two shades, Beloved and Rose Gold, over the eye together, and I've really been enjoying it. I like how soft it is. The first time I wore this, I actually went in with one of my Melt liquid liners. It was a brown liquid liner, and I did a slight wing, and it was just beautiful. And then the next day, I just did this look, just like this. I've been wearing this look a lot since I got these products, and I've been really enjoying it. And what I find is that I feel like these items just lend themselves to really soft, pretty looks. Also, I have the E.L.F. liner. I almost forgot to show you guys this because I haven't really been using this. I don't generally use if I'm just doing like a soft makeup look, I don't generally use liner. So I completely forgot. I used this for the first time today. And I wanted to get, I got it, they have three colors. They have a black, a brown, and then this green tone. And I wanted to get the green, and it's called the Satin Eyeliner Pencil. I wanted to get the green because I wanted to really see what a colored pencil would work like from e.l.f. For me, black and brown can be really easy to formulate. It's very hard to formulate color pencils and make them creamy and make them pigmented and make them show up on the waterline and all that good stuff. So I got the green just to test that out. And I think it applied nicely. Like it glided on. I don't have a ton on. I didn't want a ton on today, so I just lightly applied it. But it went on nicely. Like I wasn't tugging and rubbing back and forth, which for me is a big no-no. If any liner, if I'm having to do like this on my waterline, that's not the biz, you know? So yeah, this is a solid little pencil. I think it was maybe $2. Solid little pencil. Yeah, I don't, again, for me, this is sort of like, do you need it? I don't know, do you? But solid nonetheless. Okay, so I have two shades. Like I said, so this is the berry one. This is in Ecstatic. And then I have the neutral tone one, which is Blissful. This one has sort of confirmed for me, and if you can see, it has a cute little hearts. What this has confirmed for me with these types of shades, these types of like sheer berry lip glosses and lip balms, is that I'm not really a fan of the way that they look on me. I have very pigmented lips specifically around my lip line. So for me, what winds up happening is when I'm wearing something like this is that it gets dark around the lip line and then sheer in the center. And then it just makes it look like I've just applied pigment all around my lip and not anywhere else. It looks strange to me. So this one I haven't gotten a lot of use out of. I probably won't, realistically. But this one I love because I still used a lip liner today just to give my lips a bit of definition, but I can wear this on its own, and it's a really lovely, just sort of casual lip balm with a hint of neutral undertone. Like, this is really pretty, and it doesn't look too light on my lips. Like I said, today I did what I did on Sunday, went out to lunch with my family, and I just lined and filled in the lip a little bit and then applied this over. And I really like the look of this, and it's very nourishing feeling and moisturizing and hydrating. So I think if you're like not interested in lipstick at the moment and you just really want a pretty lip balmy type of product that has a hint of color, this is really nice, and I believe the price is like $4. So another winner in my opinion. And then last but not least is the Big Mood Mascara. The first time I used this, I wasn't that impressed by it because I got a lot of flaking under my eyes, which I never get with mascara. So I was like, I don't know, this isn't the vibe I'm going for. But then I realized that the issue was that I was using this really hydrating concealer and I wasn't setting under my eyes. So the next time I used both of these products together, I set under my eyes, like I said, with my little powder puff, and I haven't had an issue since. And since then, I've really been enjoying it. Like, I'm not wowed by it. I don't think it's like the most amazing mascara ever, but I feel like it's a nice dupe for, like, it reminds me of a bit of a hybrid between the Bite Beauty Upswing and the Gucci Mascara L'Obscur. It's kind of a little hybrid like that, and I do like that it immediately volumizes my lashes, which is something that I need. I have long lashes, but my lashes are very sparse. So for me, I really like something that volumizes and then lengthens. This doesn't lengthen that much. I feel like I could probably get it to do that if I just layered and layered and layered. I'm really lazy when it comes to mascara. I don't like to sit there and put on 15 pounds of mascara. I don't have time for that in my life. I just want to look like I have lashes and that they're relatively okay, even though my lashes are not relatively okay. They're pretty crappy in real life, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm sure that if I built this up, I could get that really intense, long vibe. But as it stands now, it just kind of fills them in and it makes them look quite nice. And I'm good with that. Like, I feel like for the price point, and for everyday wear where I'm not really going for an intense mascara vibe anyway, this works. This is a good everyday mascara. So that is the last product. Okay, so let me give you a little summary, a little roundup of my feeling about these products, and a bit of a history with e.l.f. It was one of the first makeup brands I ever purchased from, but that was way back in the day when everything was $1. It's changed quite a bit. They've had quite a bit of a glow up. So let me just summarize and say, I was actually so pleasantly surprised by most of these products, if not all, with the exception of this product here. Everything else I've really enjoyed using, and I've really enjoyed the look that I've been able to, the everyday look that I've been able to create using these products. Like I said, I've worn these all together. I've been doing a full face of e.l.f. for almost a week now. Yeah, it's been about a week. And I've been really loving my makeup. And not only have I been loving my makeup, I've gotten compliments on my makeup. I've gotten compliments on my makeup on social media. I've gotten compliments on my makeup in real life, wearing all of this as you see it now. If you're looking for a really affordable brand for everyday makeup, these products and e.l.f. are a really great option. I feel like this for me is like every day I'm wearing makeup. I look pretty, I look soft, but I don't look overly done. I just look like I put effort in. If that's your vibe, if you are not really about super intense eye makeup, this is a really great option. I think this is great for people who like makeup, but they aren't trying to do Instagram makeup. They're just trying to look pretty. That's the whole vibe that I get from these products together, is that they create really pretty soft looks. And that's really nice, and it's very refreshing, and I've really been enjoying it. I haven't been doing a whole lot of editorial at the moment. I'm trying a bunch of products, and so I haven't been doing super creative eye looks, which I want to get back into because I'm missing it a bit. But because I've been testing so many products, I've really been wanting to utilize them in a way that's useful for more than just Instagram photos, you know? So yeah, my conclusion is these products are lovely. e.l.f. was having a sale. I think they're still having a sale. I believe they've started their Black Friday sale. I got all of these items for 40% off total. So I spent under $50 for everything I showed you guys today, which is amazing. And I believe that sale is still going on. So I'll leave links down below. They are affiliate links. Please feel free to not use those if you don't feel comfortable. But if you do, thank you very much. But yeah, tell me in the comments below what you think of these products, and have you tried e.l.f.? What have you tried from e.l.f.? Do you have any personal favorites and recommendations? Let us know in the comments below. And I will see you guys next time. Bye now.